These babies are the innocent victims of a mother's addiction, whether to alcohol or whether to drugs. First of all, I'd like to talk about neonatal abstinence syndrome, which is a condition that a newborn experiences when born to a mother that has been addicted to drugs, usually opiates. The kinds of medications that can cause withdrawal include opiates, painkillers, or benzodiazepines, which help with anxiety and sleep. Illicit drugs such as cocaine can cause withdrawal. And withdrawal can occur when the mother is using the medication as prescribed, or when she's receiving medication as a treatment for pain or addiction, or when a mother is using medication inappropriately, or when she takes medicine too often, or is taking someone else's prescription, or whether she's just abusing illegal drugs. These babies go through withdrawal after birth. The withdrawal that a mother or that an addict goes through is horrible. It is the worst pain. I've had people tell me that's the worst pain that you can go through. Imagine a newborn baby going through that, not understanding what's happening. And over the past decade, we've seen this incidence of neonatal abstinence syndrome rise tenfold. In 2010, there were 524 cases reported in Tennessee. In 2013, there were 855. And in 2014, 957 cases were reported in Tennessee. And in the last thing that we have in March, there were 134 babies born in Tennessee, born addicted to drugs, going through withdrawal. There were 49 reporting hospitals, knowing that there's more than 49 hospitals reporting in Tennessee that should be reporting. Only 49 are reporting their statistics. And in Northeast Tennessee, this made up 140 children. 140 babies came from Northeast Tennessee. 74 came from Sullivan County. And in Knoxville, 99. This is terrible, but Upper East Tennessee is #1 in neonatal abstinence syndrome. We see so many more babies than anyone else reports. Because in Shelby County, they had 37. Memphis had 37 neonatal abstinence syndrome children born in 1 year. Upper East, Northeast had 140. Think of the population differences between Memphis and Johnson City and the surrounding areas. That is an incredible amount of children born with neonatal abstinence syndrome. And also we noticed that 527 cases were supervised replacement therapy, which means that's the Suboxone and the Subutex. That is the highest incidence of drugs, not the illegal drugs, not the drugs off the street, but drugs legally prescribed by pain clinics or doctors or dentists. The Suboxone and the Subutex are the #1 reasons for people being on the pain medication. In Hawkins County, we ran the stats last year. Drug exposure children were 61 out of, there were 642 children were served by Hawkins, Hancock, Greene, and Hamblin. That's our 3rd judicial district. Of those in Hawkins County, 163 children were severely abused. Of the severe abuse, and we call that with and neonatal abstinence syndrome is included in the severe abuse, but the drug-exposed child, there were 61 from Hawkins County out of the entire 163 children. It's quite a bit of children born addicted to drugs or growing up in a home with drug exposure. Yeah, it's not good to be #1, not in this. The principal ingredient of Suboxone and Subutex is the buprenorphine, which is an opiate itself. But it does not produce the intense high. But we are seeing that people, that is becoming their drug of choice. And I think you all have seen quite a few people using Suboxone and Subutex, and if it's legally prescribed, there's not really a whole lot we can do. So we are seeing children born that they're not able to prosecute because they are receiving it legally. And if you go to a pain clinic, all you have to do is pay your money, tell them you hurt, and you can get your Subutex or your Suboxone. What they should be doing is doing some kind of counseling with the family, making sure that they do wean them off. But we're not seeing that happen in a lot of areas. There are some good clinics, but there's more bad ones than there are good ones. We want to pass around our drug exposed infant and let you see what the tremors and the incessant crying. They have incessant crying, they have tremors, they have rigid muscles, they can have fevers. There's just a number of things that can happen with a child.
But when they pull them up, and because they stay so tense, the natural newborn, their head will fall back, but when they're throwing, they tend to...
And then trying to phenobarbital as well. I'm a baby that has severe problems with incessantly crying. The fetal alcohol syndrome, we call it FAS, is can show abnormal facial features, growth deficiencies, and central nervous system problems resulting from the amount of alcohol that the mother ingested during pregnancy. There is no safe amount of alcohol you can take during pregnancy because you don't know where that golden window is that is going to cause harm to the child. And with the fetal alcohol syndrome, if you take the alcohol at that certain point where it's going to affect the child, you will end up with a lot of problems. There's distinctive abnormal facial features. The most severe form of the fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, the FAS, the fetal alcohol syndrome, can result in behavioral and cognitive problems, may include reduced cognitive ability, learning disabilities, attention deficit, hyperactivity, poor impulse control, poor language ability, and memory deficits.